Record. All right. We are going with Realtor Fight Club episode
78.
78. Okay. And we're recording. All right. Welcome. I'm Monica Weekly, and I'm happy to be here with my super co-host, Jennifer Mertland.
Monica, hi.
What's up, Mertland? How are you doing?
Ready to rumble.
Okay, let's do it. All right, guys, I'm glad you're back. Welcome, and thanks for joining us for another episode of Realtor Fight Club. Today, Jen and I are going to duke it out over this question. I don't know if we're going to duke it out, if we're just going to laugh really hard. We'll see. This question is, what do you do about a difficult co-op agent? What do you do if the agent on the other side is less than easy to deal with? Hey, have you ever had this happen to you, Jen?
I think I'm usually the difficult
you
one.
You are the one. You're the example. You're the do and the don't.
I'm just kidding. No, I mean, yeah, let's think. So we actually had some super funny responses to this one when I posted it.
Oh, I can't wait.
But I think like for me, I think we need to define difficult. So like for me, stupid agents are difficult, but that's not fair.
That's not fair. They can't help their IQ. I mean, is that what you're talking about?
Just like being stupid. I don't know. But like my biggest problem is agents where they want to be combative just to be combative. Like, Stop it.
Like they think they're being super representative of their client if they're yelling at you.
Well, then you freaking look them up. They sold 2 houses in the last 10 years.
You know what else makes for a difficult agent is when the response time is less than adequate.
Oh, or if they're only emailing and texting you at midnight because they've got 4 full-time jobs and none of them are real estate.
Right. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. You got me all choked up.
I'm excited about that one.
So we're defining agents for this purpose of this episode. We're defining agents who aren't responsive. We're defining agents who are difficult as not responsive, combative. What else?
I mean, I think those are like those are the big ones, because always the combative ones are the ones that are like, I'm going to fax you the offer and I've been in this business. Right. They're faxing you. I had this one guy. Oh my God. He faxed me the offer and the cover letter of, whatever. I have an e-fax. I think everybody does.
I don't.
You don't. I almost got rid of it, but then I was like, we actually use it like once a year. I don't know why.
Okay.
But then the cover letter was handwritten in like scribble, scrabble, scratch, about how he was like Realtor of the Year in 1864. And I was like, nobody cares, dude.
Stop. I can't handle it. All right. You know what else? I'm going to add this one. I think agents can be difficult when they don't know how to lead their client.
Oh my God. Preach, girl.
Right. This is a problem. You think just because your client said it, that you have to fight for it and that you never, ever talk with them in a way that helps move the ball forward for their own good, and I think
because sometimes, many times, they hire us to fight them, to get them what they want.
Right.
It's like, they can't understand fully what they want. And it's our job to that's why I think all realtors should have a psychology degree, like a PhD in psychology.
We do.
Or counseling or social work, something like that.
All of the above. Yeah. All right. So we have combative. We have less than responsive or unusual responsiveness, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody's a little different. And I don't know that we need to be on top of things in the first 30 seconds, but I also think that 48 hours is not appropriate either.
Right.
And then somebody that's not
or the
leading their
agents
client.
That, like, if you don't answer within 5 seconds, they're like blowing your shit up.
Right.
Like, calm the hell down.
All right. So we've got this. Now, what do we do with them?
Up now.
What do we do with them? How do you navigate this?
I mean, here's what I do. I take all the emails they send me. I delete them all. And if it's that, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
If it's that important, they'll email me back.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding.
So, all right. So do you handle each of these? Like, have you ever just hit an agent up straight between the eyes with it? Like, hey, why are you being this way?
It depends on the agent, right? So like if it's somebody who's like responding in a way that's like not helpful, kind of what you described, then I would like to come to an agreement on what our response can be.
Mm-hmm.
Like a response time or like whatever the issue is, I'd like to come to an agreement. But let's assuming that they don't want to collaborate and come to an agreement on this, then I just ignore it and pray for it to be over quickly.
Just push through.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Have you ever had to call a manager on an agent? Call their manager?
I think one time, but that's not really my style.
You're not a tattletailer?
I'm not. I would key their car first before I tattle.
Oh my God, please do not key somebody's car.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, by the time I get to keying their car, it's like they've been warned. I've been like, can we make this better? They've been warned again. Like, I'm not going to tattle because, look, these managers, they don't do shit.
Oh my God, we are not making friends this episode at all. This is awesome.
I mean, what do you want them to do? I think if you're going to complain, then you need to have a request. So are we saying that like the manager doesn't know they're combative? I mean, come on. Everybody knows.
No, but I think we remember that the contract between that other client and that other office is actually between the broker and the client.
Yeah.
And the agent is to be a representative. And if the agent isn't being a representative, then does it make sense to call the actual party responsible on the contract? I don't know. I haven't done it either.
Rather than keying the car.
Yeah, better than keying the car. I had to do this a couple of times when I was running the Keller Williams office. So when I was what we call team leader or branch manager, I had to reach out and settle things, at that level sometimes, but I've never done it as an agent. I don't think, but I would.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the agent, right? Like if they are being combative, then what you're saying makes sense. Then it makes sense to be like after the transaction is done, even if you don't want to do it during, because you don't want to like get them more mad, just be like, that was less than ideal interaction with one of your agents. Like, I don't know if you've heard this before or if this is freaking news, but like make it noted that I'm not that excited. I mean, there are agents that when they have listings and like the client wants to go see them, I'm like, oh God, like in my head.
Yeah.
Like, please don't like this house.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'd like to bring up right now? This is really probably the thing that bothers me the most. And luckily, I don't run into it very much, but I'm curious if you guys do. The actual agent that drives me nuts is the one that is so awesome to work with when everything is going perfectly. I mean, they're your best freaking friend, so sweet and darling. And then the minute one of the wheels starts to wobble, they like flip flop on your ass, and they are like freaking devil, and they go insane, and they hate you. It's like, whoa, wait a second. Like, this is not personal. Where have you gone? Go get yourself. Where is yourself?
You can be like, did you take your medication today?
Exactly. That's the agent that causes me the most angst.
Yeah, but you know what? I as you know, I do a lot of cold calling.
Yes.
So there's some sellers that are like that too, where they like answer their phone and they're like so nice. And I can hear it now. I'm like, this lady's gonna be a bitch.
You can
and then they flip on you, like they just flip, and you're like, holy shit, where did that come from?
That's right. Who are you?
But I think when people are being like that, though, it's then you just go to everything in writing. Because like for me, and I don't know about you, but like they get me going sideways, like they can really get under my skin if they're being combative. And then I'm like, why are they being like that? And it's like, it's not like you're going to teach them a lesson and you're not going to be like, you need to stop being combative. It's like, get me the hell out of here. And so it's like everything is email at that point and in writing.
So true. So true. I think this will be a shocker to you. I tried to almost avoid that situation by getting the relationship in the right place from the get-go. Like I'll try to reward the great behavior, like, oh my gosh, by the way, you are
Like the
so awesome
dogs.
at getting back to me so quickly. I just want you to know I appreciate that. When you put that little nail in,
That's
then
good.
they deliver that the rest of the time, or
That's a good tip.
yeah, I just love the way you're you're representing your client, but at the same time, I feel like we're working together to get to the
I
end.
love
I
it.
just love that. And then they're
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah. We
they
are.
sit up like, yeah, okay. So
Can I have another treat?
I think if we work up front a little bit to sort of reward, what you are getting in that way, because
Well,
those agents that call you and they want to show your house and you're like, yes, please sell it, because I know that even through the hardest of times,
yeah,
we are never going to let this get personal. You
right.
just love that.
That's really good. I like that little tip. That's also like, that reminds me of the tip that people say, like, if you're running late, instead of apologizing for being late, thank them for their patience or something like that.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah.
along the same lines of what you're saying. It's like the
Um,
second they do something right, immediately be like, wow, you're the greatest at this. And like, thanks for doing
yes.
that.
Yes, yes, so true. One time well, several times this has happened, because I don't know if you do this, but I fill out the entire bottom of a purchase contract.
Girl, I don't feel
I know
shit.
you don't. I know. I do. I'll put your stuff in there, your broker number, your broker. I'll put it
Oh,
all in there. My contract will be complete from top to bottom. And one time a guy said to me, we were in multiples. He's like, "You got it." And he goes, "By the way, you completed the whole contract? Who does that?"
nobody.
I said, "Well, I do's it." But here's what the whole time I like wanted to like please him or super serve him in that way by always being buttoned up, because he was over the top on that thing. So
He
it
got you.
works. He did. He did. And we had a lovely deal that, was not easy, but because we set that out front, um, it just
Yeah,
makes
but
a
and I
difference.
think you're right, and that can work most of the time, but there is times when, I mean, I've had a deal with an agent that was actually like my friend go sideways.
Eek. Eek.
And she was actually known for going sideways.
Oh God.
And so I knew that it was going to happen at some point. It was not a
Mhm.
matter of if, it was a matter of when it was going to happen,
Oh
you
my
know?
gosh. And are
And
you friends
I
today?
was like dreading the whole thing. Like, oh, and you can't say anything, right?
No.
No.
Well, you can, but I mean, you're
And
gonna
then she
blow
like
up
didn't put
something.
anything in writing. It was only verbal. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, that's brutal.
It was brutal, man. We made it through. But so like in that case, because she knew that, so like in that
Mhm,
case, then you're like, you email it, you still put it in writing, like per our
mhm.
conversations, this is how I understood it, please let me know if something is incorrect.
If I don't hear from you, I'll assume this is right.
Right.
Mhm.
Boom.
Yeah. With the agent that's so hard on getting back to you or is not timely in that way, do you think like setting deadlines in your messages, like where you sort of say, "Can you let me know by 5 o'clock today?" Does that help, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would say 50-50.
50-50. You might get a little bit more out of people, but not
Probably it depends on the
totally.
person. Like
Mhm.
either you're on top of it or you're not. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
Even if you're like, hey, when do you think you can get back to me? Or is it possible to get back to me by 5 or like whatever it is, right? But
Mhm.
see, the people that like messaged me at like midnight or whatever, then when I wake up at 4:30, I just message them back.
I'm the same. I'm with you because I'm a 5 a.m.er
Yeah.
and I'm in bed at 9. So,
Mhm. Like,
yeah.
good morning. Thank you for the response.
Morning. Yeah. And they think we're crazy for like, isn't that a little early to be texting me? Like, isn't it a
Is
little
it
late?
late?
Yeah.
Don't call even. Like, why are you calling me?
So true. So true.
I don't know. But then, okay, so you have the agents, then the other ones are the agents that like really just don't know what they're doing. And
Mhm.
that's difficult because it depends on if they will listen or not.
Mhm. Mhm.
So if they're
You're right.
difficult, then I'm assuming they're not listening, or you just feel like you're doing everything. And that's
Mhm.
super annoying.
Mhm.
Like, who trained you? Who can you ask questions to?
It's also an opportunity, though, if they are listening or if they're open to it, that you can help them without feeling like you're not doing your fiduciary responsibility. You know, you can certainly say, hey, this is something you're definitely going to want to take to your clients and get their like you can help them and
Yeah.
be helpful through the thing without jeopardizing your relationship with your client, don't you think?
No, I agree with you. I think that's right. But I think too, you're bringing up a good point. Like a lot of agents, when they are like negotiating or whatever, they're not really thinking about, and you had mentioned this before, they just think it's got to be like verbatim or whatever, but they're not helping anybody think through it. So then I will usually, because I can think of a lot of different, well, I have a minor in philosophy. That's a fun fact. I don't think you know that.
I didn't think I know that.
I almost double majored in philosophy, but then I was like, it's useless. So let me just finish up and be done. So like I can think about a lot of things and always and never come to a resolution too, you know?
Right.
But it's like, okay, so if I'm thinking about like, hey, like for example, we put in I was the buyer's agent, shoot me in the head. And we wanted to win the bid, you know?
Yep.
So like I called the inspector, got the inspection. The inspection could be done like the next day. So then I called the agent. I was like, look, here's the offer. It's a really good offer, but like the inspection is in one day. So like theoretically, you could keep it
yeah,
and
not
he's like,
pending.
oh, that's a good point. Cause I knew that he would never, not because
Right.
I mean, I don't know him, right? So I don't know, but like, I just know that most agents wouldn't like think all the way through
Right.
what things mean.
Or how they could leverage that for their client
Correct.
in that case. Yeah.
So give them a little layup there.
Yeah.
You know,
Here's
be like,
why this
hey,
is a
this
good
means
thing.
that. I don't know.
Yes. All right. Well,
Should we go back?
I think we need a little break. I need to gather my thoughts.
Yeah, I needed. You had some good points in there,
Oh,
Monica.
thanks. So did you, Jen.
Let's go back to our corner. We're going to take a short break, hear a word from our sponsor. And when we return, we're going to have, this really isn't a punch. We're going to have our final sit down tea.
Okay, let's do that. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back. Now, before we ring the bell for the final round, Jen, you said you talked to some people. What happened here?
Well, there were some funny ones, but a lot of people said kind of what we mentioned here. Like they try to find a common ground. They one person was like, I'm known for calling managers. I was like, uh-oh. And then somebody else said that they then like resort to being everything in writing, you know.
Yeah, which is where you have to go.
One started off, well, I try to get personal. And I was like, where is this going? Like, are you going to be like,
are you guys like bedfellows?
Find your kid if you don't, you know, like, what do you mean? But then he ended up meaning like finding a common ground.
You send him pictures of his kids and be like, if you don't get this addendum signed.
Right. Exactly. That's not what he meant.
No, that's horrible.
That's horrible. But stay tuned. I got a great guest on after. So stay tuned for some tips.
Cool. Well, I think okay, so let's just ask Jen, what's your kind of biggest recommendation or best recommendation for in general navigating these situations as a whole?
I think in general, I'm going to take the stance of like like where it's an agent that is being combative, because that's is to take a breath, to formulate a response that's written, and just keep your shit buttoned up. Don't communicate with them outside of email because they're trying to get you riled up. That's how they do things.
Yeah. I think for me, it's to do the relationship work up front. Shocker, it's a relationship, right? Even if it's a 45-day relationship, it's a relationship. Do the work up front. Establish as much as you can, strengthen that relationship. Make sure they understand that you recognize that you need them to get to the finish line and they need you. And I can represent my client properly while also working nicely with you.
Yeah, but see, I think this is a mindset thing, right? Like I 100% agree with you. And I'm finding that I would say recently more agents are like in line with that thought. But like back in the day, that was not the thought.
You're right. You're right. It's like, I'm going to battle against this person.
Yes. Like,
We're on
I'm
the
going
other
to
side.
get you, client, everything. And I'm going to be doing that by beating up the other clients.
Yeah. Well, if you look at it this way, there are 3 relationships that must be aligned in any deal to make it work. And that's the relationship between one agent and one client,
Mhm.
the other agent, the other client, and then the 2 agents.
I know. That's
And
why we need to talk to each other.
that's right. Can't we
Be
just all
nice.
get along?
Don't be a douche. I like it.
Don't be a douche. All right. I think that's going to have to be the end of today's battle. Do you agree with Jen and I? Have you had this kind of experience, and how have you
Not
handled
have
it?
they, they have.
Yeah. How many times have you, I guess would be better, right?
Right.
Thank you for listening today to our Realtor Fight Club. We appreciate you being here.
And of course, if you have questions about EXP or you're interested in finding out what your numbers are, feel free to give me a call at 513-400-1691. And thanks,
also,
Monica.
Thanks, Jen. Also, go to our Facebook page or subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, get it.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.